full house. What did you think of the performance? Well, now that we know you saw the film and you love the film, first thing you're going to do when we get out of here is you're going to go on your social media and you're going to spread the word about this movie, because that is what this movie needs, for people to spread the word. In the meantime, we're going to have a great conversation about the making of this film, so please welcome writer, director, SHIRA Piven. Please welcome actor, producer, three-time Emmy winner Jeremy Piven. So,
Thank you.
thank you all. Seriously, this is such a great experience to see everybody here. So I gotta ask. The first question is usually, oh, how did this come about? But in this case, it's a more loaded question. How long ago did this come about, and why was this a true family affair?
My mom handed me the short story out of the New Yorker 15 years ago and said, I think there's a role in here for you. And she's, yeah, boy, was she right, and she's not a very frivolous person. When she says something, it lands. And I fell in love with this piece, and Shira and Josh did a brilliant job adapting it and And I think one of the superpowers of actors is we're very delusional. And I didn't even think, oh, I don't tap dance. I didn't. I just thought, oh, I'll learn how to tap dance. And to get a period piece, an indie film made, is impossible. So they just kept saying no. And every year they said no, I just kept getting better at tap. And so, it took 15 years to get, good enough. And who knew, with what's going on right now, with the rise of anti-Semitism, it couldn't be more current, unfortunately.
Well, first of all, in terms of taking that short story and turning it into a feature, what were the biggest challenges that you faced in order to expand on the character of Harold and this incredible sort of ordeal that he endures?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, the character, Arthur Miller is a literary genius, but his plays are really full and rich and realized stories, and his short stories are like little dark sketches, and so it left a lot of room. It left a lot of room to kind of play around and expand, and Josh Salzberg, who's actually here, right here. And our composer is also here, Lucas Lashowski.
Bravo!
He doesn't have to stand because he's really tall. But you do. Please stand. All right. Woo! Anyway, it was really fun to just dig into the themes that Miller so beautifully crafted in the story. And I feel like Josh is very adventurous and will be like, we can try this, we can try that. And I just kept feeling like I want to dig deeper into the story and find out what's at the heart of it. And so we enjoyed creating Harold, and the relationship between Fugler and Harold was something that really evolved, that wasn't really in the story. And yeah.
All right, so Jeremy, your performance in this movie, you are in every scene of the film. And when I say that you gave the performance of your career, that is saying a lot. But Jeremy, before we get to, obviously, a lot of people certainly picked up on, wow, is that from tap dancing? We get into like the prep and training that you did for that. you still had to get your performance as Harold down. So what informed your performance?
My entire life. Yeah.
So,
Where do I begin? Well, first of all, in terms of tap dancing, this is the one direction I gave the director, my sister. I just said, please start on my feet and pan up to my face, because I want the audience to feel comfortable with me tapping, as opposed to them just kind of watching and, is that him? I don't know. You know, we don't want that. So I wanted them to sit back, okay, he can tap, we can watch the story. And yeah, I mean, I very much identify with this character, and people say, oh, you disappeared into this role, and you know, most of you don't know me, but you know, I'm not Ari Gold, believe it or not. Yeah, and so if you think I'm that, you know, this is more like me than any character I've ever played in my life. So they say you disappeared into the role, and I reappeared.
but how did you really do all that training? Because like when I was watching the film, just the beginning of the movie, I thought, wait, do I not know, like maybe he grew up as a tap dancer, you know, so I'm like doing all my research after I saw the film, like when did it start? And what were the biggest challenges for you to like nail it like a pro?
I mean, you know, look, tap dancing is, Michael Jackson gave up tap dancing. That's how hard it is. Literally. I mean, it's so hard, but I've been a drummer my whole life, and I just started, and I just knew that I could, at some point, that would help me to kind of a way to enter into that. And I could always stick the landing, and I knew rhythmically where I was going. But yeah, it was, listen, as an actor, if you told me directions of where to go, I can get it immediately, let's go, let's shoot it. But I don't have choreography in my bones. So it was really frustrating learning this choreography. My fellow troupe members, they're all brilliant. I mean, you saw the way, they're professional dancers. And so it was, in the beginning, it was humiliating. You know what I mean? And you have to be willing to look incredibly foolish. And, you know, so I had to work through all that and just stay after it.
How did you find your choreographer, Jared Grimes?
He was my tap teacher from the beginning. I went to him, and just so lucky to find him. He's the tap dancer at the end of the film on the street. Yeah, and he's just a genius. Yeah, he's a genius.
He's also he's not only an expert tap choreographer, but he also is a specialist in our period. So, and it's a very different tap dancing style in the 1930s through the 40s, even into the 50s, than like the sort of resurgence of tap in the 90s with Savion Glover, which is very rhythmic, very feet and rhythmic focus, but not a lot of dance, upper body stuff. So Jared really understood the period, which was awesome. I want to also say that I think actors tend to get typecast in some way, or if not typecast, they tend to kind of have a certain range of roles that they're put into. And I was really excited because I know Jeremy's work and I know his incredible range, and so it was really exciting to be able to watch him kind of come to life in this particular role, which had all kinds of vulnerability and all kinds of colors that I'm not sure we've seen before from him. So
again, performance of a lifetime, really, and that it came inspired, like you said, by your life.
Yeah.
But how are you able to really balance a role that is not only physically grueling but emotionally?
Well, I mean, I remember one day after I did the scene where I you know, admitted that I was Jewish, and I'm not trying to I don't have a specific thing that I'm trying to be as present as I can in that moment. And all of that stuff happens organically with all the givens and all that kind of stuff. And it was incredibly emotional and very draining. And Robert Carlyle, who played opposite me, is a genius, and he was pitch perfect as Fugler. And he's in a real Nazi uniform, and that's all in front of me. So it was heavy, heavy, heavy. And every day, you know, 29 days shooting, and every day we had a lot to do. We had to stay after it. So after that incredibly emotional scene and others and blah, 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 we run upstairs to do the dream sequence where I'm with Mamie and we have that moment, we dance together, and then I wake up in the dream. And at one point we're dancing and Shira says to me, pick her up and just throw her around. And it's like, do you understand that I'm 200 years old? And I loved her confidence in me. You know what I mean? As if I could just take her and just kind of,
Just fly.
It was her fantasy, and I love it. I just, that was one of those moments where I was so emotionally drained that I had almost nothing left, to be honest with you. And it all worked out, for the best. And she's incredible, and it was perfect. But yeah, there were moments where I was completely tapped. No pun intended.